Yes, baby oil. This is what my world has come to. All you want to talk about is baby oil, baby oil, baby. Did he do it? Did he not do it? Did he? I no longer want to hear the word Diddy ever again because I don't know, did he do it or did he not do it? I know one thing he did do is he has now, I haven't had baby oil since I was a baby, but I had to buy the baby oil as a visual aid so all of y'all can know that I no longer want to hear about baby oil. I went to Starbucks. Somebody said, you're viral on TikTok. Why? Because you was talking about who was at the Diddy parties. Then I went over here to, man, what you think about Diddy? I went to the gym this morning. Somebody stopped me in the locker room. Now, you already know. You already lathered up with whatever that is, asking me why you got a towel on and no clothes. Jason, what you think about Diddy and the baby oil? My stress level has been high because I am avoiding baby oil conversations. But I do want to get into it. And it's at the bottom of my list today, but guess what? Unlike Diddy, we're going to move it right to the top. Diddy is facing some problems. Diddy is in trouble. That is the easiest way to say it. And you can speculate who's responsible, but of course he plays a part of it because they didn't just there's some smoke. Now, whether there's fire, we don't know, but I'm going to tell you where the fire is. I am fired up at the fact that this has now dominated the conversation in media across the world in the midst of wars, genocides, and an election. So I have to say, I am so above all of what I have to talk about right now, but unfortunately, I have to entertain you. So I have to say first, before I even get started, I am really annoyed at the fact that this topic has dominated world news, pop culture news, and all news in the midst of watching bombs being dropped in Israel. You can you can say whatever you want about Israel, whether or not Gaza is a genocide or this or that. That stuff you can unpack later. I wish we'd be talking more about those things than we are about this. Because what we are talking about right now is somebody who got arrested for something some people said, and there's nothing proving he did it, but it's so salacious, and we want to know, was Meek Mill really getting it busted open, or was Beyonce and Jay-Z hiding the baby oil? You guys are so consumed with it that I have to talk about it. This is why I ran for office, and this is why I love my nonprofit, and this is why I love Healthcare Unlocked, because all of that is going to help transform the world. This is not going to transform the world. This is meaningless conversation in order to make you feel good eating your bonbons and popcorn. But again, I love you and I'm here to do my job. But I have to say I'm really frustrated. I'm annoyed at the fact that this has dominated every conversation that I have had with people in the last week or so. And it says a lot about you. It says a lot about you, the consumer. It says a lot about you, the person that doesn't want to hear any more of it, but tuned in to hear it. And I'm not saying don't tune in because I love that you tune in. But I want you, like me, to listen to this story and then move on and go about your day and go do something else more productive. Because this is a stupid moment in time. All right. I had to get that off because it is really annoying. Is it annoying?
It's annoying.
It's annoying. I mean, yes, this is what we have to unpack the trending news. I'm more mad at the fact that this is dominating the media. And you almost wonder, are you trying to hide the fact that we have an election? Because if y'all don't know, in about a month, we're going to have new leadership in the country, which impacts our relationships in the world. And guess what? Diddy's still going to be in jail, whether he did or didn't do it. He ain't going to have access to the best baby oil, but he's still going to be in jail. Should I say all that at the top or no?
Yeah, why not?
Okay. I had to get that off. Okay. So now that I've been responsible, let's get into the team. Because I'm still going to be me. This is good. I mean, it's bad for the culture, but this is good for entertainment. See how I mixed up both worlds there? I was a responsible councilman. I did do my part. But now I got a day job. Wendy Williams is somewhere locked in an asylum, wishing that she had her purple chair to talk about what she's been talking about for years. Because Wendy always knew, and all those days that you all attacked good old Wendy Williams, you were the culprit in the cover-up. Well, Diddy is in jail, and so every week We're going to probably give you an update because it looks like there's a new update every day. But before I get into all the particulars around whether he did or didn't do it and this baby oil and the dildos and all the craziness, I have to clarify something because I've been seeing a lot of stuff pop up online that is absolutely not accurate. So this morning I woke up to a text from somebody in Germany who sent me this image. Now, this is an image of somebody claiming online that I said that this is what Jason Lee's spilling the tea on what Beyonce did at Diddy's party. No. Let me tell all of you out there right now using me for clickbait, let be very clear. I've asked all my attorneys to go after anybody that says I said something I didn't say or I was somewhere I wasn't at or anything, because this thing is growing arms now. And for entertainment purposes, people love sharing all this stuff online, and I'm not going to let you play on my name. So you have been warned. If you've not seen this video, you can deal with that in court, but do not say I said anything. What I did was I was at my house back home where I live in Stockton, and I did a live where I said I've been to the Diddy parties and I've seen all the celebrities that have been there, which is almost every celebrity that you can think of, although I did not see Rihanna there. I did see Beyonce there. I did see Jay-Z. I did see Nas. I did see Usher, and I seen Justin Bieber and Chris Brown and Tiana Taylor, Ashton Kutcher, Demi Moore, Tyrese, Lindsay Lohan, Mariah Carey, Nick Cannon. I can go on and on. Everybody went to Diddy's parties because Diddy's parties were a cultural staple in pop culture and in entertainment. So if you wanted to go to a Diddy all-white party, remember they started way out in the Hamptons years ago. People have been going to this party for years. And when he brought it to LA, I said on the show, he brought it or on one of the shows, he brought it to Prince's house. You're not going to go to Prince's house to a Diddy all-white party and enjoy Ciroc, unlimited Ciroc, and performances in every major celebrity that you can think. Of course you are. That is okay. It is okay to go to a Diddy party. Now, people are being drawn into Diddy After Dark because they mentioned that they went to a Diddy party. I'm not opposed to people saying they went to Diddy parties, because if you're actually saying in today's times that you went to a Diddy party, you probably didn't do anything. But if you're not saying you went to a Diddy party and you're silent and you can't be found, well, maybe Diddy After Dark was not was another party that you attended. I want to be clear for those of you asking for a Hollywood insider to unlock this for you. Let me unlock the experience. There are Diddy parties and Diddy white parties that everybody went to, and there's nothing wrong with that. So if you've been to a Diddy party, there's nothing wrong with that. Now, thank God for the protection of owning Hollywood Unlocked, because y'all hate me so much when I walk in a party that you never let me into the extra access that maybe I thought I needed to be in. Like, let me in the house. Let me near Beyonce. I want to know what you're doing inside. Well, clearly you didn't want me inside because Diddy After Dark had a bunch of this stuff going on. Allegedly. So Hollywood Unlocked, I used to always, this is why I have to say, good God, thank you, it's the glory. I used to be mad when they wouldn't let me go in the house or when they wouldn't let me stay, or, because I always thought, like, you are shaming me for being a pillar of the culture, for being a voice for the voices, for being the other side of the red rope. Well, you was trying to keep me from being roped into the bullshit, allegedly. Mm-hmm. And then now rejection is God's protection. Always. I can't say I saw anything at a Diddy party because I was never allowed to be in anything after what I was allowed to be in. Okay? I want to set the stage for those of you who've never been to a Diddy party. Most of you watching, and most of the celebrities that are deleting all the texts where they got invited and don't want no memories. Y'all all getting indicted, or you getting invited to court, something. Y'all get your best clothes on, because I'm going to be eating popcorn and sipping tea when all y'all go to court, because it's coming. This is going to be better than OJ. When you get an invite to the Diddy party, okay, you're either an insider in Hollywood, a celebrity, or you're a girl. They don't invite a bunch of guys. Guys can't bring plus ones, and you don't get to bring your security if you are somebody with security in the party, because Diddy has his own security keeping it locked down. Many times that I've gone, you cannot go through. They have the whole street blocked off in front of his house because people are trying to break in the mansion because Beyonce is in there. Now, if you know me, you knew I was a Beyonce fanatic. Man, I would have climbed under the gate to get to Beyonce. Well, when you got in, she was in the house with Jay-Z. So you couldn't even get in. So just context, Diddy's parties were so popping, everybody wanted to be there. And if there's anybody that's been there, that has witnessed the experience, you know what it is. I mean, you've seen videos now popping up of his son jumping on an oversized bed in the backyard. Well, now you're saying the bed is where all the victims lied. I don't know that to be true, because when I was in the backyard, I saw him on the bed. I saw Jay-Z in front of the bed. Jay-Z didn't get on the bed with Diddy though. I saw Chris Brown on the bed. It's just a thing. It wasn't like, at least in my mind, that there was no conflation between that and all the women that were allegedly chained down, sprayed down with baby oil, and given IVs in order to get healthy after being beat down by the friends. That's what they're saying happened in the Diddy parties after dark. So I want to address the viral video that has apparently taken over TikTok. I was simply naming celebrities that I know have been there. I was not claiming that I have any knowledge of any of them participating in, being victims to, or knowing anything about anything. Okay, most celebrities now, I think, are terrified of having their name pulled into something, because unlike me, when I go viral, I get more money. When they go viral, they can lose a deal, they can lose a house, they can lose a partnership, and people are terrified of being sucked in, dragged into something that they don't want to be a part of. So I want to say again, for the record, whoever's making these claims that I said Beyonce was doing stuff with Diddy or anything like that, anytime Beyonce was there, that I saw Beyonce there, she wasn't even really interacting with Diddy. Diddy was interacting with Jay, and Beyonce was with her man. So let's just squash that. And then the other thing is, I've mentioned that the whispers of Jay-Z is getting louder, louder, and louder. And we're going to get into that now too, because I don't know what Jay's connection to it is. I know that Jay is somewhere peeking over at his Instagram and hoping that y'all ain't dragging him into nothing. And we have an update on that. But I just want to clarify that, because it's just so easy these days to be able to say, Jason said this or this person said that. Jason ain't say that. Whatever Jason say, you're going to hear it straight from his mouth. I can say that. I don't even want to talk about my mouth when I talk about this story. And then y'all say Justin Bieber. Justin Bieber somewhere with his new baby and his wife trying to figure out his relationship with his pastor. Because I can tell you, I've been to Justin Bieber's house, rode up to Justin Bieber's house one day with a friend, I ain't going to tell you who, and him and all them other young people in that party. I'm going to say this.
Allegedly.
So I don't want to get sued. They were on. We have to stop saying that this man is responsible for every celebrity's downfall and what they've been doing, because I can tell you, I'm not here to defend him whatsoever. In fact, I'm disgusted by all the stuff I have to talk about today. But this one man is not going to absolve everybody in this industry for all the shit that they've been doing. And I will say that I've been hearing a lot of people trying to distance themselves from Diddy. One thing I know for sure is this man ain't going to go down by himself. Now, and if you've been participating, from what I heard, they got all the videos anyway. So y'all might as well just go ahead and come on the Jason Lee show and just sit on the couch and tell us what happened. But until then, let's get into it. So on the last podcast, we left off with Diddy being indicted. He was arrested and denied bond twice in a federal sex trafficking, prostitution, and racketeering case. They have put all these charges against the man that he's just buried, right? Well, we broke down the whole indictment and a few celebrity reactions. And since then, reports broke about Diddy being on suicide watch, but his lawyer, Mark Agnifilo, told TMZ that after spending several hours with Diddy in federal custody, he's not at all suicidal, and that he's strong, healthy, confident, focused on his defense. Now, the legal troubles keep mounting as more people file more lawsuits. This Houston attorney, his name is Tony Busby. Tony Busby said that he's now represented 120 new accusers. See, now here's the issue I have with that. This attorney, now let me first start by saying that if you've been touched by anybody, you have the right to be represented. You have the right to make claims. You all know that I survived being molested twice, and I had people not believe me when I told them. So I'm an advocate for people who've been molested, been raped, or been victims of sexual assault or anything like that. That said, we've also watched in cancel culture and in today's society, a lot of people with the Me Too movement hijack or bandwagon onto things in order to get fame or money or whatever. And I've seen it myself. So I know that to be a true thing. Anytime I see an attorney standing at a press conference with the phone number and name of their company in the back, I understand the intention, at least what they want us to believe is that if there are more victims, call and come forward. But it's also very good promotion when you know the whole world's going to be watching. And it's also screams ambulance chasing. This attorney now saying that there are 60 new cases of men and 60 women accusing Diddy of sex assault. First of all, 120 people got courage over the last week to come forward and say that they've been molested and raped. Do you believe it?
I thought it was over I thought it was thousands that came up to them, and then they vetted those people, allegedly.
Do you believe 120?
I personally, I believe that the number is probably large. I don't know how many it is. I don't know if 120 is that number, but I do think
people who have been sexually assaulted.
Yes, and again, like we're talking about a person with privilege, position, power, and money, and I think this has spanned, these freak offs have allegedly spanned over years. So it could be a lot more people than that. Honestly, that felt like they were victimized but never came forward because he controlled the gate to their career or to them elevating in whatever it is they wanted to do. And they were afraid of what he could do, and he also seemed to be threatening violence. So we've seen that.
I'm having a hard time digesting a couple things. One, I'm having a hard time digesting where have all these people been? Like, not blaming them, but has it not been a safe environment to do it? Have you not felt empowered to do it? Have you been afraid of something? Do you now feel with him in jail that you have more freedom to come forward? Because if that's the case, Diddy needs to get life in prison. I mean, if they prove all this to be true, he needs to never see the light of day again. But I also think that if thousands came forward and only 120 were vetted to be true, and we don't know the reasons or even if that's a fair report, people that make false claims should receive the same amount of time that a person would if they get convicted of something.
Absolutely.
I think there needs to be more accountability for people. And this is not to persuade, because look, if I was molested or when I was molested, I came forward regardless of what a consequence would be, because I feel like I have the right to be vindicated, and the person has an obligation to serve time or whatever, right? And I did my part. But now with today, it's kind of weird where everybody's dogpiling. This person was touched, and then they file civil lawsuits, but they don't file criminal charges. You know, in this case now, 120 people have come forward saying that they were sexually assaulted by Diddy, and the alleged victims were from more than 25 different states, most of which were from California. So 25 accusers were minors at the time the alleged incidents happened, with the youngest being 9 years old, and a 9-year-old male. And here's the accuser's attorney, Tony, at the press conference talking about it. Take a listen.
One individual who was 22 years at the time she was assaulted said that the typical MO at one of these parties that have been widely discussed in the press was that when you were handed a drink, and now we know that the drink is laced with something, if you refused to drink it, you were kicked out of the party. Now, let that sink in for a minute. I mean, the admission to this party was that you had to drink the chosen drink that was handed to you. And now we know that in most cases, I would say 90% of the cases, these individuals were drugged with some sort of drug. That was kind of the MO. Another instance, this individual who was 9 years old at the time was taken to an audition in New York City with Bad Boy Records. Other boys were there to audition as well. All of them were trying to land a record deal. All of them were minors. This individual was sexually abused, allegedly by Sean Combs and several other people at the studio in the promise to both his parents and to him himself of getting a record deal. Another instance, another minor, told allegedly by Sean Combs that he would make him a star, but he needed to visit with him in private about it, away from his parents. Once they were in a private area, allegedly Mr. Combs made the victim perform oral sex upon him.
I don't want to be the guy on record saying that it's not true, and I'm not going to do that, because again, then I'll be participating in what I think is part of the problem, that we're doing this in public, right? Like, I want this to go through the court process. What evidence do you have? What witnesses were there? Where was the 9-year-old kid's parents? Like, some of you parents need to go to jail. R. Kelly, all those kids that were molested by R. Kelly need to be in prison right next to him. Like, I am sick. Like, I think the beauty in this case is me now wanting to know, where the was the parents? Where was the mom and the dad? You know, as a person who didn't have parents like Rob did or Marina did, who actually loved or protected them the way that normal parents are supposed to, and that fell victim to a person younger, when I was younger than 9 years old, my question is, where are you? And where is the responsibility for them? This attorney should be indicted by representing somebody without calling for the accountability of the parent. And yes, I am blaming the parent, because guess what? If you actually give a shit about your kid at 9 years old, you don't let them go wander off with somebody just because they're a celebrity. I wouldn't give a damn if Diddy came and Bojangled in with a bottle of Ciroc singing every tune from Bad Boys. You're not getting my kid. It's these parents who are sitting on the sidelines hoping that their kid becomes famous so they can finally quit their 9-to-5 job at the fucking warehouse, who are the problem. You serve your kids up to these predators, and then you turn around. You want the society actually care enough to give you a bag? You didn't get your bag then, so now you get your bag now? Nah, that is what I am so frustrated about. I'm so frustrated about the fact that we are so invested in this bullshit circus when there are parents who participated. Because yes, if you allowed your kid to go on an audition with a grown-ass man, and then the grown-ass man somehow lure your kid away with him, and you so happy that Diddy wants your kid, you are a part of the problem, and you need to go to jail too. So you know what, Tony? Go after him, get a conviction, and then serve up the parents so we could turn around and put their ass right there with them. That's how I feel about that. Now, all the rest, I'll get to the rest in a minute. But I am personally, as somebody who advocates for young people who are victim to people like that, and I'm going to say again, allegedly, because I don't want to get sued. But when you have a situation like this, and then you come on here and gaslight our emotions to believe Diddy took down a 9-year-old, where were the parents? I mean, do they not deserve to be held accountable?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think your level of frustration right now with this is what I think should come out of this public shaming of Diddy, right? It should be advocacy for people who are victims of sexual violence, people who are victims of domestic violence, people not taking care of their kids and allowing them to be put in situations where they are abused. It should be about advocacy for victim shaming. Like, these are the conversations. Not everybody wanted to know the salacious details of what celebrity was in the room. Like, these are the conversations that should be had from this.
I cannot. I just, again, I feel like where were the security guards? Where were the drivers? These 9-year-olds got to eat. Where the chefs? Where the assistants clean up? My assistant, Andrew, would never buy 1,000 bottles of baby oil or buy a flight or a car for a 9-year-old, or even watch a 9-year-old walk in my house unattended and not be like, Rob, there's a problem. My team would never do that. So I don't understand that. You know, again, flying people out, for those of us that are public figures, it is convenient to fly people to meet you. I'm not going to go hang out in Ohio and walk to the local grocery store, whatever y'all grocery stores are called, when I can have somebody come see me. Going to see Diddy is not the problem. So all of you celebrities being quiet because you've been flying people out, ain't nothing wrong with flying people out. Are you flying out people who are grown or 9-year-olds? Are you flying people out against their will and holding them against their will and beating them down? That's what they allege. So this lawsuit thing has become such a circus that people are just, it has created a chaos in the culture and in the entertainment because everybody's waiting for the next shoe to drop. This last shoe of the 9-year-old has me feeling some type of way because parents don't get to just wake up and absolve themselves of being responsible. Mm-hmm. Do you think Beyonce would have been at Diddy's house if she knew that a 9-year-old allegedly was hanging out at the pool with Diddy? No, none of us would have been there if we knew that. And so who concealed it? Who served it up? Those are the people that are complicit in this, not the people who went to the Diddy party. Well, meanwhile, in the lawsuit represented by attorney Gloria Allred, and we all know who Gloria Allred is, anytime there's a case with some attention, here she goes right in front of the cameras. Well, she went with a woman named Thalia Graves. She accused Diddy and his head of security, Joseph Sherman, of violently raping her. I'll say allegedly.
Allegedly.
Now, Talia stated that the traumatic event led to suicidal thoughts. Even 23 years later, after the incident, she thought of hurting herself. Now, at the time of the alleged 2001 incident, Talia was just 25 years old and was dating one of Diddy's employees. She claims that Diddy manipulated her into a private meeting with himself and his head of security, where they isolated her and allegedly provided her with a drink that was likely drugged, causing her to briefly lose consciousness. And then she asserts that she woke up to find herself restrained with Diddy and Sherman, then proceeding to sexually assault her in a brutal manner. Now, during a press conference with her attorney, Gloria Allred, she got emotional. Take a listen.
This has put a strain on my selection of men and relationships. But many relationships became aggressive and abusive, which has made me feel even more alone in my struggles. I go through spells of being distant and withdrawn that it's sometimes so hard to leave my house. The trauma of the assault has taken a toll on my mental health. I've had PTSD, depression, and anxiety. I'm emotionally scarred. It has been hard for me to trust others, to form healthy relationships, or even feel safe in my own skin. Flashbacks, nightmares, and intrusive thoughts make me feel like it's a constant struggle.
Now, listen, there are lots of women who support Hollywood Unlocked. I have 5 sisters. I understand that women are subjected to some of the most ridiculous things at the hands of men. Lots of white elected ones that tell them what to do with their bodies too, but y'all ain't talking about that because we talking about this. But women are subjected to some of the craziest things in this country and around the world as it relates to control over their bodies and stuff like women. So I ain't gonna play in her face and say whether she's telling the truth or not, because that is the story that she's telling. What I will say, Talia, is I respect the fact that you put your face to it, that you actually went out there and you are facing it head on. And maybe in some weird way, that's your way of really reclaiming your power. And so I respect the not Jane Doe, because you could have hid behind Jane Doe like a lot of people do. So here's where we go. Some are not real and some are real. And this one has some seemingly credibility to it. At least it feels that way. When you hear, as a woman, when you hear this or you see that, what do you think?
I feel like it's so heartbreaking. And when you see somebody breaking down like that, like, I believe her. I believe those tears. I think there's power in numbers. I think, like, Cassie opening the floodgates, everyone now, like, feels protected, especially now that he's, like, behind closed doors and Diddy's kind of, like, locked away. And knowing the weird ending of Kim Porter and how she passed away, I just feel like it's scary to speak up. You see all these people, like, you don't know what's going to happen to you. So now I feel like this is the first of many that are gonna pop up. And so, yeah.
Well, see, and there's always been this feeling that if you cross Diddy, you could die, right? It to me, it was never like communicated like if you tell about his sexcapade, or it's just that if you cross him, you could die. And that's just, I mean, I've heard that, I felt that. I mean, that's been kind of the thing. When you have power, you have money, and you're connected to people in the streets, things could happen. Think about it. You don't know who's following you home. They could tag your car. They can come to your house. You just out and about. We see people get murdered and stuff all the time. And so, it is a possibility.
Yes.
And when you're rich and you're a man and you're powerful and you're scary and you got all this influence and whatever, you could make things happen. So why would a woman want to come forward? So maybe Cassie did create a floodgate for women to come forward, and men. I saw an AI video today of Meek Mill tongue kissing Diddy down out. It's not even real. Like, AI is like, and that adds to some of the problem that makes this a very complicated situation, because we're spending so much time trying to decipher what's real or not, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, it was also reported that a male sex worker submitted an alleged sex tape to the feds. I told y'all before that I had a friend years ago tell me that Diddy had him mess with Cassie allegedly on camera. He told me this 3 years before the allegations came out, and I thought he was lying, but he was telling me something there, and I had to apologize to him recently because he was telling the truth. And this is somebody that used to model for Diddy. This is a friend of mine that I know. And we laugh now that I was so mean to him because I thought he was a fraud. But that goes back to me wanting, we saw that we now are hearing that there's an alleged sex tape. Now, the male escort had signed a proffer agreement with the feds, meaning he can talk to investigators without facing criminal charges. And I want to break down something else because, I always talk on shows or whatever and say, like, I make people sign NDAs. All my staff sign NDAs, whatever. An NDA does not prevent you from telling the police about a criminal act. So I want to say that to everybody. My team knows that. You should know that. Everybody out there in the world. An NDA, a non-disclosure agreement, does not mean that you lose your right to disclose a violation of the law. It's if I get a call from the White House and we're talking about things where I share intellectual property or my vision for my company, or you can't take that and share that with people. If you come into my home, what you learn in my home, unless it breaks the law, has to remain in my home. That is what NDAs are for. Having people sign NDAs are customary. I remember years ago we had reported on Chris Brown having girls sign NDAs. I remember there was a report when he first started hanging with Carucci that he wanted her to sign the NDA. That's typical, right? Now, if you're a 9-year-old being flown in on a private jet to hang with Diddy and somebody slides you a piece of paper to put your crayon to the paper and sign your name, that's illegal. And guess what? It's not going to hold up when you get caught up like this. Well, back to the escort. During conversations, the male escort told agents about his alleged encounters with Diddy and what kinds of drugs he allegedly preferred. Now, he claimed that in May 2023, he traveled from Atlanta to Miami to meet Diddy and a woman along with another male escort for an alleged freak off. Did you imagine we'd be talking about freak offs this much?
No.
Ever. Even when the Freaknik documentary came out, we didn't talk about freak offs.
We sure did not.
And freak offs were a thing that were commercialized, and there's a whole documentary out now about the Freaknik back in the 90s. And part of what people are struggling to reconcile is that a lot of what people are being held accountable now was acceptable at some time before. Flying people in, spraying them down with baby oil. Maybe that was a thing y'all did. By the way, I never liked baby oil, and I never liked Vaseline. Like, I just,
Really?
Oh my God, I hate Vaseline. And yes.
I liked baby oil for a time, and I would put Vaseline on my lips. But
I like baby oil lotion, but I guess because Diddy couldn't spray them down with the lotion, allegedly. Well, during the meeting, the sex worker claimed that he engaged in sexual activity with the woman and that Diddy recorded that sexual experience. This is similar to what my friend said. I wonder if it's my friend. Well, then he'd be a sex worker, and then we can't be friends anymore.
well, I thought you said you knew he was a sex worker.
My friend?
Yeah.
No.
Oh.
My friend was a model for Diddy.
Oh, that's right.
Who was brought in allegedly
Allegedly.
and asked to mess around with Cassie while Diddy filmed it and masturbated. He wasn't. He was not a sex worker. But then if he got paid to do that, he's a sex worker. Yo, if you're a sex worker, I gotta cut you, bro. Like, I just can't. I can't.
Well,
like,
I mean, everybody's a sex worker now.
No, we're not.
OnlyFans.
I'm not on OnlyFans.
I'm not saying you.
So don't say everybody. Are you on OnlyFans, Marina?
No.
I'm saying we have to cut
Don't rope us into your
We have
bullshit.
to cut a lot of friends because they do OnlyFans.
First of all, back to the show. We just went to dinner with yesterday.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever. Well, look, OnlyFans model. A third new lawsuit made headlines this time. A woman now is accusing Diddy of sexual assault and claimed that he got her pregnant. Now, Jane Doe claimed Diddy assaulted her repeatedly over a 4-year span, beginning when they met in 2020. She alleged that he caused her to become pregnant, but she ultimately suffered a miscarriage. Now, in her lawsuit, right, I'm going to say allegedly that. In her lawsuit, the woman recounted her visit to Diddy's homes in LA, New York, and Miami from 2021 to 2022, asserting that these encounters were not often consensual. And then she alleged that he employed coercive and harassing language to compel her presence, even sending drivers to intimidate her. In one disturbing incident in 2022, she alleged to have sustained physical injuries after encounter with the rapper, waking up with purple bruises and a bite mark on her feet.
This is just.
It's too much.
It's too much.
It's a lot.
It's too much. When are Diddy's attorneys going to quit? Because at this point, if I woke up and every day, well, no, because that's job security, right? If you have more things to defend. Let me tell you what's going to happen. Diddy is going to be drained of all his money, fighting all these charges, and then he's going to get out and be broke. and none of y'all are going to be there for him. All the Diddy parties he had meant nothing. That, I think, again, is another reason why I'm really over like the industry in a sense, because I had fun with it, but like there's no loyalty, there's no real friendships, and there's a bunch of freak offs happening. You know, I want to go back to something. I'm going to share something right here on the show, and I don't care what anybody says about it. I'm sorry, but it is what it is. It's my experience, and I get to share it. I've been to so many parties. I remember going to the party of Carl Lewis. Do you remember Carl Lewis, the track star, the Olympian? Do you remember have you ever heard about his parties?
No, I didn't know.
I will never forget the night that we got to his party and Carl Lewis made us drink a drink in order to get in the house. Now, I can't say that I felt woozy or that anything happened to me, but I do remember vividly people going up to Carl Lewis's bedroom with different people in the party. And I wonder now if there was something in that drink. I can't say that I felt anything. Was it like a hello? Like, cause I go to the White House, they have champagne on a platter. So is that like his version of the champagne, just a knockoff? I don't know, but this is why you shouldn't require people to drink something before they enter, because there may be sex inducing drugs that make you more horny, right? I'm gonna tell you right now, if I find out that I was given a sex inducing drug, now do I then go back and file a lawsuit and become a John Doe?
Yeah. A little civil case there.
Now, I'm not alleging that you did anything, Carl. I'm just saying that it was a prerequisite to get in your house. So now, Jamie Foxx, I know you just allegedly had a stroke.
Allegedly.
You ain't been on the show, so let me just ask you, the Jamie Foxx parties. Lots been said about those parties. Rob is dying over there because he knows what I'm about to say.
I've been to one of the Jamie Foxx parties with you, but.
No, the other celebrity party you went to, I'm not going to say his name because Lord knows if I drop his name right now, y'all will flood social media. But Rob went to a celebrity's party, and when it turned evening, it turned into a different type of party after dark, right?
Yeah.
But most people participated on their own.
It was consensual.
And it was just a freak off.
Yeah.
In Encino.
Yes.
And you guys you told me this story before all this even happened. So that's the crazy part.
It's real. Like,
it's real.
Again, let's not conflate being freaky at the house that Rob looked forward to going to and the Diddy After Darks that are all still allegations for the record, right? Because I'm still having a hard time. You know, I worked myself up with the 9-year-old thing. Like, on a personal level, I felt me getting personal with the story. Because when I see online, it's so easy nowadays to call people pedophiles and this and this and that and that. And it's like, where are your parents at? Where are the parents? Let me say another thing I think I have a problem with. The United States right now, in some states, make it legal for you to have sex with a 16-year-old. Why is it that? Did you know that? Oh, my God. 16 and 17. See, New York, this is why mapping out all these allegations, right? If you're in New York, you can have sex with a 17-year-old. If you're in Atlanta, you can have sex with a 16-year-old, right? Now, why don't the U.S. just make it 18?
Right.
I mean, I personally agree that there are some circumstances where there should be like federal limitations on things, but of course, people want to have states make decisions on certain things. But I think when it comes to something like this, it should just be a nationwide agreement that an age limit is required.
They don't take IDs at Diddy's house. Anyway, I'm done. Diddy, I'm as tired of this story as you look in this picture. You're not going to see the show because you're in jail. And, you know, I can't wait until you go to court and just have your day in court to be able to get us past this, because I feel like we are stuck in Diddygate. You know, and bottles and bottles and bottles, 1,000 bottles of you. How can you even explain having? I mean, I guess you could say you have a huge house, you have lots of guests come over, you get massages, you and all your 1,000 though.
No,
that's why I said I think he just had the Amazon delivery.
That's
on
a brand
repeat
partnership.
and then forgot to turn it off.
Johnson & Johnson.
Rob, me, you, and Andrew order on Amazon every day. It don't even allow you to order 1,000 bottles.
He just probably gets the delivery every month and just
Like a
forgot to turn it off. Yeah. Just probably gets like 50 bottles a month.
That happened to me with paper towels, but
water.
But I had or water. Maybe I have like 50 extra things of water, but 1,000 bottles of lube of
baby oil.
And how many dildos they say he had? Hundreds.
I guess those were on auto order too.
Look, there's nothing wrong with being a freak, okay? I have a drawer at my house right now. It's not like this, but there is a bell that says, ring me for a blowjob. Okay, look, so what? They sell it. If you click it, you're not going to necessarily get one, but there's nothing wrong with having it. Now, I have an issue with my housekeeper cleaning it off here and there, and Yvonne is messy. Shout out to Yvonne. But I don't think there's anything wrong with being a freak. In fact, being a freak is natural if you're a human, okay? But being this kind of freak, please stop conflating everybody in the world. I feel so much better now that I got this off my chest, because everywhere I go, you all want to ask me, what were they doing at the Diddy party? What was you doing at the Diddy party? I was dancing to Ciroc, okay? And yes, TD Jakes was there. He just wasn't bent over singing the Holy Spirit, okay? You guys want me to tell you that TD Jakes was clapping them cheeks over there and that Meek Mill was somehow swinging from French Montana's balls? No, I don't know that was happening, okay? I don't know that wasn't. I just don't know that was. But I just want us all to get back to normal. Can we please just bring the People's Court into this and just have the People's Court monitor this situation? And you better let cameras in the court. Okay, I'm done with this. Goodbye.